I thought today's video will be the last video of my project vlog where I share how I knit a sleeveless top, but that unfortunately did not go as planned, and I thought maybe I should make a little video as a gentle reminder that it is okay if things don't always go according to plan. It is okay to make new plans and do something else. So the fourth episode of the project vlog will come soon enough, but not today, and that is okay. So today's video will be a little bit of daily life and projects. I am thinking of doing a little sit down section at the end with all of the projects that is on my needles currently and where I stand with that. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, grab yourself something nice to drink and let's hop right into this video. It has already been a busy morning here. We had a beautiful little morning walk and I've already fed my sourdough starter because I want to make some sourdough wraps for breakfast tomorrow. And I've already done lots of things around the house. I did some ironing, put some washing away, and I think it is finally time to have a little coffee break with a rusk and some knitting. I'm currently also working through all of my pattern designs. I like to look at them from time to time and make a few changes, add a few things that I've learned over the years, and always keep making them better. We have been getting an abundance of green beans from the garden, so this morning I decided to make some little green bean fritters for breakfast with eggs and sourdough toast. usually make these cookies by cutting up a leek, also from the garden, cutting up some green beans. For this time I used 150 grams of green beans, finely chopped, and then I boil them in salt water with the leeks for about 15 minutes or so. After that I add a half a cup of flour, a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper to it, and I mix the dry ingredients until most of it is absorbed with the wetness of the beans. And then I add 1 egg, and because it is a little bit dry, I just add a little splash of milk to it to make it a nice consistency. I fried up in a pan with a little bit of melted butter. I made some eggs and the sourdough toast, and that is our breakfast. For dinner we had our favorite vegetable combo and some sweet potatoes, and after that we went for a lovely walk. Just before we jump in with what projects are on my needles at the moment, let's have a quick look at the last patterns that I've published. Starting with my socks that I designed for the Socktober Sock Along that I host every year in October of last year. So this is the penny socks, and they are quite a long pair of socks. Luckily it is a striping pattern, so you can customize them to be shorter if you like. This is my first pair that I made of the penny socks. So for this pattern I used 4 colors, being the pink, this variegated color, the green, and that one, and I just repeated it to the toes. This pattern is written toe up and cuff down, so if you're a cuff down knitter, there is cuff down instructions for this one. Then while hosting the sock along on Instagram, I knitted another pair of penny socks in only 2 colors this time. I wanted to see how that will look, and I must say I really like them a lot. I also knitted them long, like the original design. Right, so this is the second pair of penny socks that I've knitted in 2 colors. I do remember these yarns. This is cherry chocolate from Big Fox yarn, and then this color I have dyed myself with acid dyes, and both of these socks are knitted on 2.25mm needles, with all of the yarns is 366 meters on 100 grams, and it is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So yes, I love these socks. They are so pretty. And I really like how the 2 colors came out in these socks. That's it for the socks. Then after that, I published the Fairy Lily cowl pattern. I'm sure if you're a long-time viewer of the podcast, you will remember this one. So this is what it looks like. And I really love the shape of these. Most cowls is like a tube at the top, and these are shaped a little bit so that they are smaller at the top and a little bit wider over the shoulders. And they have this fun look at the back where you sew those 2 ends together. So I really love these. They are so fun to wear. This is the second pattern in the Fairy Lily design series. The first one is the Fairy Lily sweater. I'll put a picture up on the screen of what that looks like. But this is the first size in the pattern of the cowl. I made these with Knotty Habit yarn, sock yarn. This is part of a Kaiso sock combo that I got as a birthday gift. And then this purple is a yarn that I dyed myself, also with the same base. So they are both 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 366 meters on 100 grams. And if I remember correctly, this pattern was knit on 4mm needles. So that's size 1. Then I made a bigger size. This is size 2. This is what it looks like, a little bit up close. This one is made with Piana yarns. It's quite a bit bigger than the first size. Both of the yarns in this second size is Piana yarns. I used the same yarn that I used for my Fairy Lily sweater, the Victoria, and then I bought this variegated hank of yarn from Piana Yarns for a second color for my cowl. I really love how this came out. They are beautiful and warm, and I cannot wait to wear them this winter, because I've only worn them 2 or 3 times each, because I was afraid of wearing them out before I published the pattern, and they have been finished for quite a while. But yes, and as you can see at the back, it also has those fun stripes coming together where you sew them up at the back. The pattern has video tutorials on all of the things that you need to know to knit these cowls, and I really love them. Just after that, I got this inspiration to make a scarf. So this is the Serenity scarf. This is the first size in the pattern. Just want to bring it close so that you can see the beautiful patterning. There is not a single purl stitch in this scarf pattern. All of these is made with knits and slip stitches, and I really love this little scarf. It is so cute, and I cannot wait for winter so that I can properly wear this. I really love how these came out. So this pattern also has 2 sizes in it. The scarves are both the same length, but they are different in width. So this one I made with Knotty Habit yarn. It's also a sock yarn, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this one was made with a 3.25 millimeter needle. And I made a tutorial on how you start this project, or how you would start a project that is wrapped with I-cord. So the I-cord is knitted with the project. It is not an applied I-cord that has to be knitted afterwards. So when you start with the I-cord, and when you bind off with the I-cord, and when you're done, you're done. So this is size 1, and then this is size 2. I dyed this yarn, and it is very bright. The camera does not want to pick this color up properly, but if I look here, it's not too bad. It's more or less, I think, the same color. So as you can see, this one is a little bit wider than the first size, but they are the same length. My husband jokes and says that I'm highlighted when I wear this. But it is so fun. Oh my goodness. I cannot help it. If I look at myself with this pink, it makes me so happy. I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love it. It is a very, very bright color. When I ordered this dye, I did not know that it is a neon, but I'm happy. I love it. It is gorgeous. Alright, so let's look at the projects on my needles quickly. As you would have seen in the beginning of this video, I am currently working on a project vlog series where I mostly only share the knitting project that I'm making in the video, with small little amounts of nature footage, not a lot, mainly the knitting project. So I thought today's video will be the 4th and last video of the series, but things didn't go according to plan. I did not finish it yet. It is quite a big project because it is a top for me, and I am making it with Al Cotton's 4-ply in the colorway Baby Blue. And this yarn is 100% cotton. It's got 156 meters on 50 grams, and I'm knitting this project with 3mm needles, so it takes a while. So this is how far I am at the moment. I have ends hanging all over this project. Let's just tuck them in there. We'll have to get to weaving in ends very soon, but this is what I have so far. This color is very difficult to get on camera as the true color, so if I see somewhere in the footage that it is the true color, I will mention that. But I've knitted this top so far. It is sleeveless, and if I look at it in the mirror, I think it's finished, but I know it definitely is not, because up to this point my project was blocked, and I lose a little bit of length every time I wash it. So for the first time that I wash it, I lose length, so I have to knit it a bit longer to get to the correct length. But yes, in the 3rd episode of my vlog, I was up to this point, so I've added all of this in a week. This is the front, and that is the back. These markers are both from Annegret from Pincushion Crafts, and they are so pretty. So yes, so for this top, I started at the top at the fronts, and then I knit the fronts, joined them together, knitted the armhole shaping, and then I picked up the back, knitted the back, did the armhole shaping, and joined them together. And then I added a little bit of short rows for bust shaping so that you don't have that curve at the hem of the top. And I then did a decrease or two, I can't exactly remember now, it is in my notes, just after the bust, and then I started doing A-line shaping for having a little bit more room for the hips. But I love this project, it is gorgeous. And I love wearing sleeveless tops in summer because I get very warm. I cannot wait to add this one to my wardrobe. So at the moment I have 2 yarns on this project. I am not really alternating every single row, well, round. I'm not alternating every single round on this top because that is just feels too much. So I'm just alternating to get the next color in for a few rounds. So my yarn is a bit messy at the moment. So I have these 2 in my yarn cake cozies, and I'm just alternating until this one runs out. So when it starts looking like this, I will start alternating the next ball in. I'm not exactly sure how many rounds that is, maybe 10, maybe less, but I like to do that. I'm using a method of just dropping one to the front, picking up and knitting. Lots of people do the helical knitting technique where you slip 3 stitches. I'm not sure. I think I've done it in one project, but I cannot exactly remember. I always refer back to this method. Right, so that is the top that I'm working on currently. Right. Then I still have my brioche memories blanket that I'm making with sock yarns, even if it is 400 meters on 100 grams, like an opal yarn or a hand-dyed yarn, doesn't really matter to me. So I haven't worked on this in a while. I'm not exactly even sure where I am. So this is what it looks like at the moment. And I am in no hurry to finish this blanket. I usually put all of the projects that I make with sock yarns, I put some of it in here. I also have like these ones where I just put little bits in to make up a square, so there's not really rhyme or reason for it. Most of the yarns, well, a lot of the squares in this blanket is also made with leftovers from the yarn swap that I did with my friend Leonie from Independence Yarn Crafts. I think we did the 3rd swap this year. I think so. I think we did. And I haven't added a single bit of that yarn swap into this blanket yet because I still have leftovers from the project that I made that I will show you just in a minute. And I also have plans of making 2 other projects with the leftover yarns before they will get to this blanket. But every time I take this out and I look at it, I just want to work on it because it is so pretty. I absolutely love it. All right. Now I actually have 2 brioche memories blankets on my needles at the moment. I also have this one that I'm making with acrylic yarns, held double with 5mm needles, and I haven't worked on this in a while because it is simply too hot to work on it. But this is what it looks like. The squares are quite big compared to my fingering weight version. And I'm at the end where I need to add the end block with the I-cord around it. And yeah, last time when I tried, I think I was not in the correct headspace, so I couldn't get it to work. But someday when it gets cooler, I will try that again. So for this blanket, I'm just using what we call 4-ply scraps and not scraps and cones and whatever that I've rolled up into little yarn cakes, and then I just pull from the center and the outside at the same time. Like this I caked up from a Mirage 4-ply cone, I think. But yes, so that is another project that I would like to work on a little bit in the near future. Then the project that I used my yarn swap yarns in is another design. I'm currently working on the pattern, the last little bits, and we've just taken pictures of it during the week. So that is the next pattern I think that will come up, but it is also a cowl. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? These colors are very bright, so again the camera is having a little bit of a hard time to pick up the true colors, but I love it. The main color yarn I dyed myself, and all of the yarns in this cowl is again 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. Let me just get this one. This is the first size in the pattern, and it also has an I-cord wrapping around the project, so you knit the I-cord with the project. When you are done, you can block and just seam the back. I love this so much. It has exactly the same effect on me as this pink scarf. Every time I look at this, I'm like, I love it. Absolutely love it. It is gorgeous. I cannot wait to wear this scarf. Oh, this cowl. Cannot wait to wear this cowl. So pretty. And then at the back, it also has those stripes in different directions. So when you are done, you also just sew up that. It has the same shape where it is smaller at the top and a little bit wider when it goes down. So that is size 1. And then I also designed a second size, this time in 2 colors, for people that don't like the very bright colors, so that they can see what that looks like in a 2-color version. So for this one, I have used the main color of the first size as my second color, and then I also used the same purple yarn that I used in the Fairy Lily cowl and for my first Fairy Lily sweater that I dyed myself with acid dyes. And this one is quite nice and big. Very pretty. I do love them both. They are so pretty. I love it. Alright, now if I remember correctly, I've been working on quite a few things behind the scenes. This was made with 3.5mm needles, I think. Gorgeous. It is so funny to me that if I look at this, the purple is more pronounced, and if I look at the stripes going that side, the beige color is more pronounced. Interesting. Okay, so that is the cowls. That pattern will be coming up soon. And then I thought I will just quickly share this one. It is just a little bit of a sample, like a swatch more or less. I had this new scarf design idea coming into my head, and I started to try and bring it to life. So this is what it looks like, my little sample. I will definitely be making a sample in a different color. I haven't decided what yet, and maybe I'll have to dye some yarn for it. But this is also made with sock yarn, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and yeah, this is going to be very beautiful, elegant piece that I cannot wait to get finished. I would love to see the rest of my elements come into this one, but yeah, just a little bit of a teaser for so long. I love this so much. My design process could sometimes take quite a while to get the thing from idea to pattern, but I get there in the end. I am also working on some of my older design ideas that haven't become patterns yet, so that will also be coming up soon. I hope that you enjoyed this little sit down catch up with me. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope that you are doing well wherever you are in the world, and remember to always make time for the real treasures in life. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you soon in the next video.